I like how the music starts. Immediately, I get this. He's like, wait, is it music?
Like how the music
Oh,
starts.
and then, god dang it, and then I did a rookie mistake. All right, mute that. He's like, is that music playing? Does that mean my mom is she streaming? Is she streaming? Hi! How is everyone? How are you today? He is best boy. Would you like a belly rub, best boy Marty? Oh, he got belly rubs. Oh, yeah. Oh, best boy Marley. Yo, he's such a good boy. Oh, yeah. Best boy Marley. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's such a good boy. Yeah, Marley's like, woo! Stream time! Okay, so first off, Andrew, links to the pattern and to the kit. Why did I? There we go. Let me click on this. I don't know why that keeps doing that. If anyone's looking for the pattern or kit, let them know. Look in the information below the actual stream. So if you scroll down below, the very first clickable link you have is God of Mischief patterns, kits, or finished quilt. Click on that. It takes them to my website, and they've got it right there. That way we don't have to worry about throwing the command in all the time. So if anyone asks for it, just say, hey, take a look at the area below the video, and you can see it. You see it, right? You see it? Goes into searching mode. Okay, it's now to go into searching mode. Go look at the screen. Okay, you got it? You got it? Fantastic. Yay! Also, if you sub to me here on, well, not subbed, if you became a member of YouTube on day one, I started streaming, and you kept your membership for a second month, you now have a pretty sewing machine. You have a new colored sewing machine! Yay! So I'm very excited for that. Alright, really quickly, catch up personal things, and then we'll get into the quilt along. For those of you that were wondering if we were going to get another foster dog, we were supposed to get Grover this weekend. Grover just was admitted to the rescue last weekend. He had just gotten his surgery to get fixed on, wait, today's Thursday, on Tuesday. So he just got all of his stuff. Hello, Erica! It's blue! You like it? You like it? It's blue. Right, Nikki? All the different things are the same thing. All the different words for same things. So, he just got his blood work, paperwork, everything was cleared on Tuesday, so they went ahead and did all of his stuff. Wednesday, whenever they were getting them all ready for transport, he was not doing very well. So he is not coming on the transport this weekend. So we will not have a foster dog for at least another week. There is a chance that he may come up on the next transport with another rescue from the area that's also coming up here. So if that's the case, he may catch a ride with them. So or he may do amazing all of a sudden and get adopted. We don't know. We'll figure it out. It's a step-by-step process, right? So the point is poor Grover was not doing well, and if he would have taken the trip this weekend, it may not have been good for him. We always want to think of the dogs first, because that's why we do this. It's for the benefit of the dogs, and they come first. So, I'm very excited. Guys, this is our first official quilt along. Like, for one of my patterns. We're going to do this for Bob, on my Twitch stream, and it just didn't quite turn out that well. So, I was like, this is actually the first real one that we're doing, so I'm very excited. Hello, BJ! Oh, I forgot to say hello, Sharon. Hello, Erica. Hi, everyone. How are you today? So yeah, I'm very, very excited. So here's how this quilt along is going to work. I got distracted. This is how this quilt along is going to work. So we're going to start it off today. I'm going to go through a lot of the best practices. I'm going to go through a lot of how to read the pattern, what to do. We're basically approaching this quilt along as if this is a pattern that someone has picked up from me, and it's the first pattern that they have basically gotten, A, for quilting, and B, for my pattern line. So I'm going to assume you know nothing, you've never made anything before, and we're going to do it all together. So tonight's going to mostly be talking about basic best practices, lots of things, and then we'll get into actual cutting. So I am going to talk about picking your fabrics, which fabrics are good for the pixelated patterns, which aren't, all sorts of things. I know. Hey, Dueling Needles, how are you? I love your YouTube name, by the way. A State of Denial is amazing. Hello, Amber. How are you today? I know. It wasn't a squirrel. I got distracted. And really quickly, I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow on my Twitch stream, because it's not something a lot of my YouTube people know about. I was planning a trip to the States to get all the fabric that's down there, including the amazing Tiger King fabric. However, Canada has recently tightened up the border even more. So I will not, at this time, be able to plan a trip. I have to wait for them to open up the borders a little bit more in order for me to do that. So I'll talk more details and everything else on my Twitch stream tomorrow. I'm also going to set up all of my Able Gamers fundraising for this month tomorrow on Twitch as well, so you can see that. For those of you joining me here on YouTube for the first time, we do have a few events this month. In addition to this Loki Quilt Along, we are also doing 2 big events on Twitch. Saturday the 20th? Is the 20th a Saturday? Yeah! I got it right! Saturday the 20th. I'm going to be doing a stream that may never end, starting at 10 a.m., possibly going to 10 p.m. Basically, you donate to Able Gamers, and I keep streaming. I keep going. We're going to have some amazing, awesome incentives. I'm going to be playing Sims most of the day, but you can donate money if you want to see me sew instead. So it's going to be an opposite thing. Normally, you donate money to get me to game, but it's going to be an opposite. You want to see me sew? You got to donate some money. You can also donate money for special Sims rewards, such as me making your character in the game, me building from scratch, which I do not like to do. I have some team rewards for all sorts of cool things. Then, this is the big one for all of you sewers and quilters. Tomorrow, we're also setting up the race. This month, our race is going to be for Able Gamers. You can win some pretty cool prizes. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. And yay, Nikki! It's finally moved! And in addition, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot of bragging rights. All you need is 2 charm packs, and that's going to be on Saturday the 27th, starting at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. I need to find a host. I just thought of that. I still haven't talked to people about hosting this. Yeah, I gotta message people and find a host. All right, so you ready to get into so any other last minute questions or issues, concerns before we get into the Loki Quilt Along? My God of Mischief Quilt Along? Yeah, when Canada shut down this past time, the mail basically stopped moving. So I have a lot of... No, Looney's participating. He's probably going to participate in it. I got to ask him if he's going to participate. But no, I'm going to try to get someone associated with Able Gamers first. So, and then I'll look at other people. So I've just got to start reaching out and talking to people. I just haven't actually made the time to do that yet. Okay, let's do some God of Mischief Quilt Along stuff. So, first off, as you guys know, I am going to edit this entire video. We're going to have 4 weeks of this quilt along. We're going to be making the quilt top. If you make a quilt top along with us for this quilt along, submit a picture of you holding your quilt top and holding a piece of paper saying your name and the date to the Facebook post that I'm going to be making on my site and the Facebook post that Andrea's going to be making on her site. Exclamation Cosmic. You do have to be a member of the Cosmic Fabric Creations Facebook group and a member of the Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group. So if you make a quilt top, you do those two things, you could enter to win. We said $25, right? $225. You can enter to win one of 4 gift cards. Two of them to Quiltoni and 2 of them to Cosmic Fabric Creations, which has amazing, fantastic fabric. It's amazing. I've worked with it. I love it. It's fantastic. And it just, Andrea is my friend, so, you know. So I'm really, really excited. So if you're participating, thank you. And Andrea and I are very excited for it. Yeah, I know. I never remember the thing, right? If you go to my website, Quiltoni.com, there is a little tab for the March Quilt Along. You can click on that and get all the information. So let's get started. I'm going to do my greeting thing for my intro for my video, so I know from that point I can edit this and get going. So, hi. I'm Toni. And welcome to the God of Mischief quilt pattern. I'm going to be breaking down every single step by step by step. I am doing this live on my YouTube channel, my YouTube Live. So I may be reacting sometimes to people in chat. For the most part, though, I'm going to be teaching and educating and editing a lot of that stuff out. And we're going to speed up. So if I show you something cool, I'm going to show you everything, meaning I'm probably going to speed up through a couple of the different things. So, let's get started. Then I'm around to let you know the Thursday. I know, right, Scott? Hello, Trini. How are you today? I'm glad I could tell you today was Thursday. You know the thing I realized, not only do I talk too much, but I have to remember whenever I'm chatting with you guys, if I'm editing this out for the tutorial that's going to go on the actual pattern, that I have to pause so it's an easy break for me to edit. Alright, so first off, patterns. You can get the pattern one of 3 ways. The physical patterns can be found in your local quilt stores. They can also be found from me when you see me in person. I'm at conventions, when I travel for quilt guilds, teaching, things like that. When I can travel again one day. I have all my patterns with me, so you can buy physical patterns at that point. I also sell my downloadable PDF patterns online. So if you go to my website, Quiltoni.com, or if you're watching this video, if you look down below, there's a link to all the Loki things, God of Mischief things on my website. Just click on that and it'll take you over there and you can purchase a downloadable pattern. The third way you can do it is I sell full kits. In my full kit, you get the physical pattern, but you also get all the fabric to make the quilt top. And I cut your strips for you. So these are all the strips that you need pre-cut, ready to go to make this pattern. A couple of the things that are my favorite things in order to make this, of course, not just the pattern, scissors. You're going to need some good scissors for this. I love these ergonomic scissors from Famore. They're some of my favorites. You're going to need some pins or clips. Always seam ripper. You always need a seam ripper. You never know when you need it. And of course, you're going to need a rotary cutter and quilting straight edge. I didn't realize that they apparently don't use a lot of straight edges in regular sewing. I thought it was like a normal sewing thing, but no, apparently this is a quilting straight edge. So you need a straight edge with your rotary cutter, or I'm going to be using the Stripology ruler. So this is a really cool ruler. There's a couple of different ones at this point. If you're watching this on YouTube for the actual breakdown of all of the streams, for the sped up thing, whatever, you can find links to this down below. So those are the biggest things. And then of course you're going to need your sewing machine, thread, bobbins, standard sewing machine things. I think I got it all. When I'm I start to realize, yes! Really? Really, Scott? Seriously, it's like all the things where I'm like, why do I do this thing? Doing this thing makes it so much harder. Like, I love you, Unreal. I love you so much. Thank you for all those commands, by the way. Yeah. So, fabric. The biggest question I get asked when people purchase my patterns is, what kind of fabric should I use? I prefer blenders. At this point in time, the video is not live. However, it will be live in about 2 or 3 weeks. Today, it's the point of this video, is March the 4th. This upcoming Monday, I am posting the video on the how to do multiple blocks for any of my quilt-alongs and do things out of order. The following one is how to take any 2 quilt blocks and turn them into a throw pillow. And then the next one's going to be all about blenders. So I am a big fan of blenders. A blender is basically a fabric that is not a solid. It looks like it has some kind of movement, but it brings together the design. So it's a really cool, amazing fabric. There's a ton of different blenders. The blenders that I am using for my God of Mischief quilt are a mixture between the Toscana line from Northcott and the Marbles line from Moda. So I'll be using both of those together. They're both very good, strong blenders. I am actually shifting my entire line over to the Northcott Toscana. I have found that with the Toscanas, they actually show a little bit more movement, more pop, and if you can believe it, their colors are actually more vivid and bright, which is great for pixel quilting. So keep that in mind. Now, can you use patterns? Of course. You can do anything you want to do. If you want to use patterns, use patterns. It's interesting because I actually just pre-ordered a bolt of blue fabric that it looks like it's jeans, and it's a pattern. And I'm going to be making some of my happy painters with that fabric. So keep those in mind as you are picking out your fabrics for the pixel quilts. What's going to blend, what's going to look good. And like I said, I'm a big fan of blenders. When in doubt, solids. There are some great, great solids out there. Remember, the higher the thread count, the heavier and thicker that cotton fabric is, the longer it's going to last and show less wear and tear. So let's get started. All right, pattern. First off, with my patterns, if you have never done one of my patterns before, they are laid out exactly the same. Every single pattern has, basically, if you open this pattern, it's going to look exactly the same no matter what pattern you're looking at. At the very top over here, we give you some tips and some tricks. If you're an experienced quilter, you can skip this section. Basically, anytime we have things like this, you can skip it. Then we have our chart of things that you need to cut. So you need to cut them in 3.5-inch strips and 2-inch strips. From those 3.5-inch strips, you then cut these chunks. The 2-inch strips, you sew together in these combinations. And then cut these chunks. And then all it is, it's a matter of laying out each of your pieces in relation to these chunks that you cut. The arrows are which way you iron those pieces so that you nest your seams every single time for perfect points. And then you add on your borders. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Now, I do advise, if you get a PDF downloadable pattern, I am a huge fan of using little pieces of paper to follow along and to make sure that I know where I'm going and what I'm doing. So you may want to print it out. You may want to print that paper, that pattern out in color. Trust me, black and white, it's going to be a little confusing. So when you print it out and follow along, it's going to make it a lot easier. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Your pattern tried to run away, but you got it back in time. Fantastic. Fantastic. You're in space, Nikki. Fantastic. That's awesome. Now, don't forget, if you just popped in, if you missed my opening beginning, if you are making a Loki along with us, oh, you know what? I forgot to, oh, no, I did. I muted. Okay. If you're making a Loki along with us, and you finish the quilt top by the end of the month, you do have a chance to win a gift card to Quiltoni and a gift card to Cosmic Fabric Creations. So I'm really excited about that. Yes, in color is important, right, Erica? All right, so we talked about the patterns. We talked about colors. This, of course, is an example of a quilt that I have made with most of these fabrics. I've switched some out for this one. So let's get started. So I'm going to take my kit and set my kit aside because I'm going to leave that. So if you guys want to buy it, you can. I don't need this one right now. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my strips. Of course, if you purchase the kit for me, you've already got this. Your strips are already cut. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do is cut those strips. And then we'll talk and move on to the next one. All the gift cards, I mean all the quilts, yes. See, and that's an important one, Scott. That is absolutely an important creative thing right now. All right, so let's switch this over. So here is our camera. So the first thing, as you can see, I've got all of the fabrics off to the side. Let me actually scooch this in out of the way. Now, whenever you're looking at your pattern, make sure you take a look at this chart right here. It tells you the 3.5 inch strips and it tells you the 2 inch strips. So find your colors. Now on the backs of the patterns, it tells you exactly how much you need in all of the fabrics. But if you open it up right here, it actually has the color code. So if you're not sure, whenever you are going to purchase your patterns about like the general shade of what we recommend, look on this page right here. And these are the general shades that we recommend. Now, you can always change that. Always change that. Now, another thing that I do want to point out at this time before we start cutting. This is an old pattern before we started thinking about skin tones in the actual characters. You can use any skin tone you want. You do not have to follow this picture. If you want to make his horns and his staff bright pink, make his horns and his staff bright pink. You create the patterns, make what you would like to make. So that being said, the next time I do another print of these, this is not going to say tan, that's going to say skin tone. And all of our patterns from this point on are going to say skin tone. Okay? This was just back whenever we initially started creating patterns. We just created it and we just called each color what it was with the color. We didn't think about what the colors represented. So we have updated that, and in the future those will be changed. All right, so let's take a look at these. I'm going to go right down my list. That's right down my stack right here. That's always the easiest. So I'm going to grab my light blue and cut these. So at this point, we want to look at our pattern and decide how many do I need. Now, the nice thing about using the Stripology ruler, and again, I am not sponsored by Stripology. It is not something that that they have given me. I purchased my ruler. I'm not in a partnership with them at all. It's just a perfect ruler, in my opinion, for strip quilting. So I'm lining up the top right here, making sure that's there. Now, whenever you're cutting your strips, always, always, always trim this up. So this area right here needs to be trimmed up. That's because you want to square your fabric before you make your actual cuts. So this is an important thing. You want straight cuts in your strips. Okay, so let me go ahead and start cutting these. So I'm cutting my 3.5s. Yeah, I got caught there a little bit. Okay, and then I need my 2s. Now, I am not going to say exactly how many strips you need because I don't want people watching the video instead of getting the pattern. This is to help you with the pattern, kind of like an accompaniment. And so then that way, people are more confident in quilting. And if you see one of my patterns in a store, you're like, hey, she's got videos on how to do this. I'm going to do that. There we go. There we go. And that's it. That's all I'm doing for this first step is cutting these strips. Now, if you're using a standard straight edge, you may notice that it's going to take you a little bit longer to cut those strips. Because as you cut, you're going to have to move the fabric or move the straight edge. That's perfectly okay. As long as you're able to keep that straight edge straight, that is perfectly fine. So, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of the fabric then from the rest of the strips in the pattern and speed up the rest of the video until we finish cutting all those strips. Okay. All right, to catch up on chat. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Hello, Erin. How are you today? I do. I love this ruler so much. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. All right, so any questions from people that are here on cutting strips? Any questions at all for the cutting of the strips, whether the 3.5s, the 2s, any of the rulers I use, if you want me to show you any other rotary cutters, if you have a different rotary cutter. Completely up to you guys. You have me for the quilt along. That means you can ask me any questions you like. No, my rotary blades. Yes, they are. My rotary blades are from Famore. Why is it not going? Famore has, I think it's having issues. If you go to my website, Quiltoni.com, and you, oops. That is all. I need to iron this. If you go to my website, Quiltoni.com, and you look at the, yeah, that's all wrinkled. I gotta iron that. And you look at the affiliates, you'll see Famore there. Click on that and they'll go through there. But they have some new rotary blades that are amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the blades are able to be resharpened. And if you see them at a show, they do Dragon Con. If you see them at a show, you can bring your rotary blades back and they will resharpen them for you. Yeah, the bot's having one of those days. Seriously. Like, the bot needs to stop doing that. I don't like it when the bot does that. Ugh. I'm just waiting for my iron. It would help if I would have had my iron heated up already. If I would have prepared. Thank you. I love this green. It's like a really pretty emerald. It is gorgeous. It's a Moda marble. I only use this fabric for this quilt, for the Loki quilt, so I haven't found a good one in the Brain with Things, Toscana. I haven't found a good one in Toscana yet, but that's just because I haven't looked. Because I have so much of it left for the Moda. only problem sometimes of keeping the bolts the way I do is sometimes they get all wrinkly. They get all wrinkly. Oh, there we go. Oh, yes. Oh, hey. There it is. Oh, never mind. Anrield found it. Anrield found Fomore. Thank you. Thank you, Anrield. I appreciate you. Thank you for finding the Fomore link for people if they want to look at it. So I get my scissors and my rotary blades from Fomore. The rotary cutter and mats are from Martelli. That is also on my sites. Oh, you know what? I think we don't have a Fomore command because on Twitch we say go and click on the boxes down below. I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay, where is the green? Okay, green is one, 2, 3. Yeah, see the mat, I've got one. See, if you just do mat, that actually shows you the, that's the command to look for the mat or the rotary cutter. They're both good. They're both through that link. No, I don't have one for Nikki. It's the tweezers are the same link. The same link for Fomore. So you just go to Fomore, because I cannot do direct links to products for Fomore or for Martelli. Because I only have my affiliate code, which takes you to the main page. We did not. I got rid of it because I did not get any credit for sending anyone to the site. So you just have to do the regular Fomore website with the name of the tweezers, of the nose pickers. There we go. And blue. So my blue is in my lovely miniature bolts. I love these mini bolts. They are fantastic. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Argue with me. Be that way. I see how you are. Yes, we may have had one at one point. There we go. All right, blue is that. And that is it. Are. I can put that away. Yeah, I just realized there's no white in this pattern at all. Like, how did I not realize? Yes, I know, Nikki, I know. You do have to troll me. I know how it is. All right, gold. Okay, there's not enough of this shade of gold, so I'm going to go with this shade. These are actually, oh, I should actually talk about this. You can see it. You see how these two golds are just a little different? These are the exact same fabrics, the exact same SKU numbers from Moda Marbles, but they're different dye lots. If you have ever used yarn, you know dye lots make a difference. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're getting more fabric, is make sure it's the same shade if you're gonna use them both. So because they're different, I can't use that one, so I'm gonna set that aside and then use this. There we go. All right. Gold. It's so funny using these regular measurements again as I'm cutting, because I've been doing the prep work for the next quilt along in next October for the Halloween quilt along, and so those are different sizes. So I'm just like, wait, hold on. That's right. It's a different size. I gotta retrain my brain on what I'm cutting if I'm gonna go fast. Okay. Now this glorious gray is a Northcott Toscana. I absolutely love Northcott Toscanas. I mean, they're just glorious. I mean, I think that's a great idea, Nikki. I think that's an absolute fantastic idea. I mean, I think it's good. Oh, Anriel, don't forget to put, I signed you up last week. Don't forget to put your name under the shift tonight so I remember to pay you. Okay, so gray. I need one. Yeah, especially, I mean, if you have time and you want to stream Final Fantasy, I would do it whenever the expansion comes out. Or unless you just want to do, like, the dungeon stuff. Alright, and then skin tone. Yeah, I'm going to have to iron this one. It's all wrinkly. It's super important whenever you're cutting strips, make sure your fabric is ironed. Because if you try to cut your strips and it's not ironed out, your cuts may be a little wonky without you realizing it. And cutting and sewing straightish is super important. Doesn't have to be perfect, but if this helps set up for success, then absolutely do it. Just takes a few extra moments. Well, I don't... Okay, and then 1 and 3. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. Almost done cutting strips. Oops, did I take... Nope. Yes, a lot of times when we play Final Fantasy in the dungeons, it's a lot of Anriel screaming. In all seriousness, it's a lot of her just screaming obscenities and screaming things. So it's definitely not family friendly. And this gorgeous, gorgeous satiny black is another Toscana. I mean, this black is just so nuts. It feels so good too. Like it's so super silky. Okay, so black. Here we are. And then I need how many twos? Like a good saturated nice black, especially a blender, is super hard to find. And this one I think is the best I have ever seen. It is so nice. Alright, I'm going to trim this again because I did shift it a little whenever I moved the fabric. Go. And that is all of our fabrics. Does anyone need help with cutting out their strips? Any questions? Anything else on that? Go. You know, I'm wondering if I go back out here, should I just put those fabrics away? Oh no, you can't see them. Fantastic. I've got a stack of the bolts right there, so I didn't know if you could see it in the camera or not when I switch back. All right, so we've done step number 1. Set aside all of the 2-inch strips. Okay, so now after we finish step number 1, we're going to cut our 3.5-inch strips. So we're going to set aside all of our 2-inch strips. There we go. So these are going to get set aside over here. And now we're going to cut these. So now we're going to finish step number 1 and cut all of our chunks out of these. Now, you have 3 different size chunks from these strips. Our chunk number 1 is a 3.5 by 6.5 inch piece. Chunk number 2 is a 3.5 inch square. And chunk number 3 is a 2 by 3.5 inch rectangle. If you are new to quilting and you're not comfortable measuring out those chunks, I do have my own template set. This is a template set with all 3. I am personally out of stock at this point. However, if you're watching this video on YouTube or on my website, there's a link down below either to my own website or to the Martelli website where you can pick these up. So you can buy them from myself whenever I have them in stock, or you can buy them directly from Martelli at all times. So those are just giving you a general idea of those. Hello, Azul. How are you today? I am doing wonderful. Thank you. Now, the point of these chunks, in fact, I'm going to show you one of my templates on the first one. We are doing, let's see, the first is the gray. So let me get that gray fabric. Whenever you have your fabric, the first thing you want to do is iron it. So I'm going to take it over to my ironing board and do that. I'm going to move those over there out of my way. So we have our fabric, our strip fabric, all ironed. Now we have it wants us to cut 2 3.5 inch squares. So using the templates, I can take the 3.5 inch square And the first thing I want to do is cut off this selvage. So I'm going to take my template and I'm going to lay it here on the end of that selvage, and that's where I'm going to cut. Just like that. And if you move this over, you see the selvage is now cut off. Now, I need 2 3.5s. It's already folded in half, so I'm actually cutting 2 at a time. So I'm going to take my 3.5 and I'm going to lay it here. And there's my perfect block. Whoops. I didn't cut through all the way. There we go. And there's my 3.5-inch pieces. So that's what these templates do, is they allow you to lay them just like that, so you can cut as you are going along. It's easier to do that. You can also use a straight edge, or you can use a stripology ruler, if that is what's easier for you. All right, so with that one, we are done with that. I'm going to take the rest of my gray strip, and I'm going to set it aside out of the way, because I don't need it, because that's all I need. All right, next up, I apologize. I didn't even read my own pattern. I also need 2 rectangles of the 2 by 3.5. So again, I'm going to line it up along here. I apparently am not cutting it hard enough. And then there are my rectangles that I need. All right, so now I can take this, set this aside. The next one I have is this fabric. Let me iron this, and then I'll come back and cut it. So any questions from anyone watching about the Martelli templates, cutting your chunks for your solids, for your 3.5-inch strips? Now, for this one, I'm going to show you how to cut your chunks using a regular straight edge. Okay, because I want to show you all the methods. Obviously, this is the one that I prefer, but I'm going to show you all the methods. So, from here, so the first thing I want to do, again, is trim off the selvage. There we go. Then, the next one says I only want 1 6.5. Well, I like to cut it in 2s. I like to cut sets. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it as a set. And then take one of them and set it aside. So there's one with my pattern. The other I'm going to set over here out of the way. Then I need 4 3.5s. So there's 2. 4, and then for my 2s, I just need 2. So these are 3.5-inch, so this is, remember how we're chunking it. We're chunking it by 6.5, by 3.5, or by 2. And just like that, we have all the pieces cut. Azul! That's fantastic. Cutting up fabric is your second favorite thing? Yes, I know, right? Right? I think my favorite part is watching all of the pieces come together whenever you're making a pixelated quilt, and they all just start to come together for a picture. Like, that's my favorite part. My goal today is to get as much cut and ready as possible for next week. All right, so extra fabric, so I'm going to set that aside. There we are. Up out of the way. All right, next is black. Now, last but not least, I want to show you the stripology way of doing it. And then I will, after I show you this way, I will speed up the camera for the rest of my cutting of my pieces. So first thing I want to do is iron this, because we always want to iron that out. Now, you can use this method with any of these 3, but I'm actually going to layer them too. So I'm actually going to cut them 4 at a time. So let me iron these, and then I'll lay it out and show you what I mean. There's the one. I remember the first time someone showed me this, it blew my mind. So, how you layer them. You take the bottom one and you line it up using your cutting mat as your guide. Take your second one and lay it directly on top. Use your cutting mat as your guide. Don't use the bottom fabric, use the cutting mat as the guide. Then lay your ruler down, whether it's the Stripology, the templates, or a straight edge. Trim off the selvage, and then cut. All right, so black. I need 3 6.5s. There's 4. I need 9 3.5s. So there's 1, 2, 3.5, 4, 8, and then I need 19 2s. Okay, so 4, 8, 12. Let's see, can I get a 2 out of here? No. It's just a little too short. So that's going to be scrap. So I only need 3 of these. So I'm going to take that and set that aside. I need 4 8s. So that means I need to cut 2 more on here, because I need 9. Okay. And of course I only have 1 strip left, so I'm cutting 2 at a time. So there's my 9th. I'm going to set that one aside for a future quilt. And then I need, how many of these? 19. So there's 4, 8, 12, and 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I'm counting them one more time to make sure. 4, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18, and I only need 19, so I'm taking 1 away, and there's 19. And that's it. That's how you cut the solid chunks. If you have any questions or concerns and you're watching this recorded video, put them down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them, or you can always pop into my YouTube lives. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of the chunks and speed it up to make the time go by fast. All right, so everyone in chat, questions? Or you want to tell me about your day? Because now I don't care if I'm talking to you guys, because I'm speeding this video up and they're not going to hear me talk. So how are you guys? Is everyone doing well today? Okay, so there's 2, 4. Okay, so light blue, I need 8 6.5, 4, 8. Oops. Now I saw that you were chatting with the printer about adding in complementary colors of complementary solids to your lines. That is awesome. Yeah, if you're using the same colors for all of them, why not, right? And some people want to make sure that those colors are matching. All right, 17 3.5s. So that's 4, 8. Oh, and that's not even quite 2. So that is scrap. Fantastic, Scott. Welcome back. Yay, Azul! Azul, are you making this with me? Are you making the God of Mischief? It was actually a video for the blocks that led me to... Really, Aaron? That's awesome! You're Tonifying the pattern? Nice, Nikki. Nice. What does that mean, Tonifying the pattern? Are you creating your own pixelated pattern using my my book and my style? Okay, there's 8. Okay. 12. 16. Oh, wait, no. I only have 17. Okay, so 16, I'm going to stop there. And let's go 4, 8. Okay. So 1 away. 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay, that should be 7 of those. Yes. I'm going to take 1 away here. And just cut 2 more here. I actually, what's funny is that there's still a 10-second delay. I tried to lower it. YouTube said nope. It does not want me to have an ultra low latency. For some reason, it wants me to have just a regular low latency. Like, okay then, fine. You be that way. Freaking YouTube not wanting that latency. Aw, yay, Scott! That sounds like an amazing conversation. Oh, okay, yes. So the stitch and flip, yes. So that's how you're channeling me. I get it. Aaron, do you have my book? 'Cause my book teaches you how to do that. Fantastic, Azul. You've got plenty of time. Trust me, as long as it's by the end of the month that you finish the top, and you see how quickly it goes, just from this, right? So as long as you finish by the end of the month, you are good to go. All right, so green. And then green, I need 6. 6 3.5, 2, 4, 6, and then 2 2s. 2, 4, 6. Yes. And then 2s. All right, blue. Look, I'm almost done with the chunk with the big strips. Well, yeah, that makes sense, Nikki. That completely makes sense. So, yeah, no, you can definitely, as long as you have my book, Aaron, you can totally figure out how to do a cross stitch to a quilt pattern. No, you didn't tell me about that. But you have a lot to write off, though, don't you? From all the charity stuff? You didn't tell me about the tax bill. That sucks. Okay, and then blue. Blue, I just have 1 3.5. And then gold. that stinks. Nice, Nikki. That is awesome. Yeah, and see, and that's the thing that whenever I worked for my parents at the insurance agency and I managed it, whenever we talked to our business people, the way that workers' compensation insurance works is it goes off the receipts of the business. So if the business does really, really well, better than anticipated, chances are they're going to have a larger tax bill to offset it at the end of the year. Because you do it as an estimate. If you say that, hey, I think I'm going to make $50,000 this year. Yeah, great. So you're going to pay insurance on $50,000. If you make $80,000, you now have to pay for the extra insurance for the $30,000 you made. But if you made less, well, then you're going to get a refund back. So we used to tell people all the time, well, you know what? It's actually a good thing you owe money. It means you made more than you were expecting to this year. There we go. All right, so gold. There we are, gold. There's 4. 1, 2, 3.5. 4, 8, 12, 2, or 4, 8. Man, I can't count today all of a sudden. Whew! It's like counting by 4s and by 2s. Alright, so I only need 3 of these. I need 4, 8, 11 of these. And then 4, 7 of these. And that is extra. And we have all of our solid chunks. So all of our solid chunks are all cut out, ready to go. So we're completely done with step number 1. Step number 2 now, we want to combine together our 2.5-inch strips to make these comboed pieces. So now we're going to take our 2.5-inch strips and lay them out. So I always like to do this. I like to lay out my strips all lined up so it's easy for me to grab it. So first one, tan to gold, tan to green, tan to black, gray to black, 3 black to 3 blue. So I'm going to actually do it blue to black. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then 3 black to 2 green. Oh, 2 black to 2 green. I can read. There's 1, 2, 2 black to 2 gold. 1, 2, and then 1 gray to 1 gold. 1 gray to 1 gold. Now you notice you have 5 2-inch strips left over of the light blue. This is your border. This is your first background border before you add additional borders of your own. And I'm actually going to teach you how to add additional borders in this tutorial, by the way, because at the end of the pattern it says add any additional borders as you wish. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to take these and set these aside, and we're going to deal with those at the end. So now I'm going to take these and we're going to strip piece them together. So let's go stripping. You like how I worded that? Let's go stripping. You like that? You like that? Really? See, that makes me, see, that's the nice thing, Scott, about any money I make in the States for my parents. My mom chooses how much to send in. So she actually sends in more money to the government. So then that way I never have to worry because of my business. I'm always worried about about having a tax bill at the end of the year. by having her send in extra, I don't have to worry about it. So, it's nice. It's nice. All right, so let's strip piece. Stripping. Basically, all I'm doing is sewing these two strips together. The best way that I like to strip piece is take your first fabric, take your second fabric, make sure you shake them out, shake your strips out to make sure they're not caught. Do you know how many times I've sewn a fabric strip to a fabric strip and had it caught in here? Yeah, seriously. It is, and then I realize it afterwards and I'm like, yeah, I sew these with a 1/4 inch seam because I am quilting with them. So the first thing I want to do is take my scrap. If you want to know how to chain piece, which is using the scrap in here, I do have a video on it. And so I'm going to take these. I like just lining up these first two. It would help if I had it correct. You want to go right side to right side. So right side to right side. I'm going to lift up my presser foot and just set that in there. Now, I'm going to be sewing these with a scant 1/4 inch. In the case of the 1/4 inch piecing foot, I'm sewing it just to the left of this piece of metal. If you're using your machine, you want to just move your needle a little bit if you don't have one of these things. I actually have a video all about scant 1/4 inches and how to do it. All right, so the easiest way that I know how to do it, I take my forefinger, I stick it right here. I take the rest of my fingers, I put them in down here. I take my thumb, I've got it right on top. And then what I'm doing as I'm sewing is this. So I'm moving my thumb with this top fabric back and forth to make sure it's constantly lined up right here as it's going in the machine. So let me show you. So let's fix this. Now, I've got this right here just like this. And I'm not pushing my fabric. I'm not pulling my fabric. Let the feed dogs of the machine carry the fabric for you. So my left hand, I'm actually not doing a thing. And as you see, I'm just taking this top fabric and going back and forth in order to line this up. And that's it. So it takes a lot of practice in order to do it. The biggest thing that people have problems with is if their fabric goes this way or if their fabric starts going this way. If your fabric starts going this way and you have too much, you're going to have to use your seam ripper and undo it. If it goes this way and you have too little of a seam, oh, that's easy. You can just put it right back in that machine and redo it. So this is actually what's going to set you up for success for the rest of your quilt. If you can strip piece straight-ish, then your pieces are going to be lined up nicely, everything's going to measure properly, and you won't have any issues at all. As you see, I'm only doing it one-handed, making sure that everything lines up correctly. So my advice is if you want to learn how to strip piece quickly, just grab a bunch of scraps, make a scrap quilt, sew some scraps together, and just practice feeding them into the machine with no pins, no glue, nothing. When you master strip piecing just like this, it's going to go so much faster and you'll be so much happier. Any questions on strip piecing? Erin, you're okay. Well, in that case, all right. So let's take care of Erin's. Okay. So I'm gonna show you here. If your machine starts to pull to the left, I assume by pulling to the left that you do this, right? That your fabric starts doing that. I had a machine like that, and what I would do is, as I fed it in, I actually angled it to the right. So it's something that is, yeah. So I would take it. Scott's absolutely right. I would take it to the shop. I would have them take a look at it and then see if they can fix it. It may be an aligning adjustment. So then your lining, what's the word? Your lining up your... It's a word! Alright, so at this point, I am now going to sew all of these sets of strips together, and we're going to speed through it. See, now I can go fast, and I can do it right. Yeah, whenever you're doing this at first, don't go fast. And I just realized as soon as I finish this live stream, I need to film a hi, I'm Toni, and a hopefully you'll learn, because I think I just made a how to strip quilt, how to be a quilting stripper. You know what, Erin? That's absolutely right. If you're used to something, then if by fixing it, a lot of times you may throw it off a bit. So, yeah. Yeah. Right, Nikki? Right? I'm like, hey, I just... See, and I'm like, and I was talking to my husband about this, and he was like, well, you're not doing much more on YouTube, are you? I was like, you do not understand how much, like, sanity this is saving me. Because I can just, like, make the videos and then edit the videos. And then take the tips and tricks. Because, seriously, right, how to be a professional stripper in quilting. I like that. I like that. I like that. I know he's appreciating me not having to film all day Saturday and Sunday. Hey, and I did that the first take, too. I still can't... Alignment. Alignment! That's the word I was trying to think of. Alignment. Your alignment is off. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So tomorrow, for those of you that weren't here at the beginning, we are going to set up our Able Gamers fundraiser for the month. So we're going to set that up. We're going to open up registration for the race. Now, obviously, these take a lot longer than the block because there's a lot more strips that we're sewing together, hence why we're doing this over 4 weeks instead of just 2. So if we can get to ironing and cutting these tonight, fantastic. If we don't, we don't. Oh yeah, oh, all the yes, of all of the ribbon candy, yes, of all the fabric in the back. Yeah. How it just naturally curls. You notice how I'm not cutting anything. I'm just letting it go. I just keep on feeding it in, keep on feeding it in, keep on feeding it in. And I will show you why when we get to the next part. I like that though. It's like ribbon candy. I like that. How it's just like feeding in there. Oops. There we go. Straighten it out, baby. Straighten it out. Haha. Sorry, my nose is itching. Whew. For those of you that weren't here at the very beginning, I'm going to talk tomorrow a lot about the border situation here with Canada, with the foster dogs. We have an update. And then, of course, we're going to set up our Able Gamers stream. And all the rewards that you can get. I'm really excited about these rewards. And, of course, with your donations to Able Gamers in the month of March, you get to pick the next color that's going to be on my head. I'm kind of debating on not having purple be an option. Because I kind of want to like start to make my hair rainbow again, right? So that, because we've done purple twice, which is great. But now let's add on another color. Exactly. At the end, so probably beginning of April. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I may not even put purple as an option. So obviously I'm going to do blonde. I'm going to do blue. I may do red again. It's funny. So my husband the other day says, how long are you keeping the purple? I'm like, look, as long as I'm not traveling, this is a charity incentive. People are donating to pick the colors of my hair. He goes, okay, so for the next one, it needs to be red, red, and red. Right? Well, no, that's the only thing, Aaron. I will not put green in. And I will, and Nikki, I will never make my hair green because that's just a horrible color for hair. In my opinion, on my head. Some people can pull it off. Some people look great in green. I would not. Technically, my hair is turning indigo because it is fading. Oh, no! Yeah, you should, well, and Scott, unless you plan on donating it. If you plan on donating it for charity, you can't have it colored at all. So that's the thing. If it gets long enough to where you want to donate it, don't color it. But if you're not going to donate it, then yeah, you should totally do a crazy color for like a week or two before you cut it. I think I'm gonna wait until I get down to 2 strips, and then I'm gonna do my my intro and my outro. For that video. See, it's kind of like you guys get like a back A behind the scenes. This is what Toni does when she's recording YouTube videos. No, that is not selfish at all, Scott. Seriously, that is not selfish. No one says you have to do anything. That is not selfish at all. Because honestly, especially nowadays, we need to do the things that we have the mental capacity to do. In all seriousness. My machine's moving. It's getting crowded. And I'm almost through a bobbin. Nope, not at all. Not at all, Scott. There is no danger of that at all. Because the feed dogs are pushing things away. So as long as the feed dogs are pushing things away, there is no fear that's going to come back at all. It's not selfish. At all. Shush you and your brain worms telling you otherwise. There we go. Okay, so with these two strips, I am going to do this. No. 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 Yes. No. I don't like that. Huh. That one? Maybe. You can see my mess. Okay, ready? Let's do this. Hi, I'm Toni, and today we're going to learn how to piece two different strips together, also known as stripping. Yeah, we're gonna learn how to strip like a quilter. In all seriousness, I'm gonna show you the tips and tricks that I use for doing it. Alright, so that's my beginning. Now, let me grab my last guy. And there we go. Haha. And that is how you strip it with quilting. How you strip with the piecing, and it's, yes! So that's how you take two strips of fabric and sew them together. Hopefully you learned something. Don't forget to like this video, follow my YouTube as well as my Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, my Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group, Pinterest, all the things. And don't forget to join me live when I stream live here on YouTube as well as Twitch. My schedule can always be found on my website and my social media. There you go. Just like that. Just like that. Okay. All right, we go back over here. Oh, wait, you know what? No, because now I've got the... Oh, yes, I got one more. I got one more. One more to do. I'm going to set that aside because that's the last one. I'm not a stripper? Oh my gosh, Nikki, I have so many socials. It's ridiculous. Like, I feel bad because I was supposed to, like, update all the socials today. I didn't. I totally didn't. And I'm just like... Okay. Okay. Like, I really, really need an assistant to do all that stuff for me. I just can't afford to pay an assistant. Yeah, and when you're stripping, don't be afraid to stop and readjust your fabric. Because seriously. All right. We've got all of our strips in. So now I'm going to take my scrap fabric and put it into clearance. And then I'm going to free my strips. And then I'm going to grab all of these. And I'm going to bring them over to the mat. And I'll show you the next step. Over to the mats. Over to the mats. Over to the mat. No. I don't. Miss Elving doesn't have time for what I need. She still has a regular day job, right? Okay. Next, we've done the first part of step 2. Now we want to cut each of these newly combined strips in half. Okay? So let's start at the beginning. There we are. So all I'm doing in here is I'm separating it from there. I'm taking this, I'm folding this whole thing in half, and then lining it up. Now, the best practice of doing this is look at the selvages and get the most bang for your buck. So get the most fabric out of there that you can before you cut that in half. Now, as a preference, I like to have my cut pieces on the left-hand side as I'm ironing. So we've got that, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just going down and trimming fabrics. Is this the next one? That's the next one. Okay, there it is. There it is. So all I'm doing is trimming and then cutting it in half. So let's do all of them. There we go. Ha! Nice. Nice. What is plunk and pillow? Wait, what is that, Erin? What do you mean your plunk and your pillow fort? Those aren't social media things, are they? And I know I can schedule this stuff ahead of time. It's just forcing myself to do it kind of thing. Right? I've got so much going on with so many different things. I'm just like, yeah. Wait, they are? Oh my gosh. See, that's how bad I am. I didn't even know that they were social media things. So are they social media managers? Are they sites? I did all three. Yeah, just making sure I did them all the same. Okay. All right, so they're not great social media management sites. Got it. Got it. All right, I'm thinking we'll get started with the ironing and trimming of these and then finish it up next week. Because I don't think we're going to finish them all today, but you never know. And then this way, if you want to get a head start, you know what to do for trimming these next week. All right, so all of our strips are now ready to go. I'm going to actually move aside all of those. And move aside all of that and that, because our next step is we're going to cut these. So let me grab my ironing board. What we're going to do is we're going to take each side. So if you take a look at it, it says the next step is to take the tan and gold strips. So let's grab our tan and gold strips right there. We're going to iron one side towards the tan and then the other side towards the gold. All right, so I'm taking this when I'm going to iron this flat. So let's do that now. I'm doing what's called locking in those seams. I'm ironing this, and then I want to iron this towards the tan, just like that. You notice how there's a nice straightish seam there? That's because I locked that seam in. You always want to iron that seam before you iron it up. Just like that. And then if we take a look at it closely, it's now pointing towards the tan. So whenever you take a look at your pieces, if you grab a piece that points towards the tan, that's this one. So our seam goes in that direction. So now let's iron the other one. And then this one, we're ironing it in the opposite direction. We're ironing this towards the gold. So, oops, let me actually lock my seam in all the way first. So I'm ironing this towards the gold. If you have problems ironing it, oh, excuse me. If you have problems ironing it into a nice crisp seam, try steam. Put steam in your iron and use steam. There we are. So now at this point, I'm going to take my bottom piece, I'm going to flip it up over that top piece, and we're going to trim them. So I'm going to move my ironing board, and what I'm doing is I'm nesting these seams. I'm taking my fingers and I'm moving the fabric back and forth in order to hit those nested seams. So you see here how the seams are going in opposite directions and it's all lined up perfectly just like that. That is a nested seam. And then I'm going to cut some pieces. Now, you notice how in the directions it says to cut a set. That means we're cutting two pieces at the same time. Now, we can use the templates. So this one, I'm going to show you the template one. So in this case, I need one set of 3.5. So the first thing I'm going to do, just like with the last one, let's cut off the very end and square it up. Oops. Almost time to change my blades again in my rotary cutter. Then I want one set of 3.5. And there it is. There's my set of 3.5s. Then I need 3 sets of the 2s. There's 1, 2, 3. Now, you can, of course, do this with your regular straight edge or your Stripology ruler. You don't have to use the templates. It's just an option. Now, the rest of this, I'm going to fold and set aside because that's extra. Now, whenever I'm opening up these pieces, I find it's easier if I make two separate stacks. One stack has all the fabric going in one direction. The other stack has it going the other direction. So this one is going towards the gold. This one is going towards the tan. So you see how they're laid out differently, and those seams point in different directions. That is what those arrows mean with pointing in the different directions. However your seam goes is how you're going to lay it out. All right, so I'm going to take these, I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to go ahead and iron all the rest of them. And then we're going to go back and do some cutting on them. All right, so let's do this. Oh, did you like that subtle jab to Looney? Did you like that subtle jab to Looney there, Nikki? Yeah, you know, Instagram is still weird. It's still weird, and yeah. Yeah, so at this point, Erin, I don't have any in stock myself. They are at, you can get them from Martelli. However, when I do finally make it to the States one day, I am planning on putting an order for a bunch of them in so I can carry them again. And then what I'm going to do when I do get to the States, everything that's in the States, I'm going to list on my site with shipping from Maryland. That way you get better shipping, faster shipping, and I'm going to do a big sale on everything. So that way if you place an order for things before I come back home to Canada, I can get it out there. So I'm very excited about that one. Okay, let's do some ironing and do some things. Okay. So any questions on this? On ironing seams? Laying things out? Everyone's got that part, right? With ironing the seams and cutting the combined pieces? Welcome to Toni's Ironing Channel, where we iron all the things. Does it iron? Really? I love my iron. It really is a fantastic iron. do not know that person, Anriel. I don't know who the Does It Blend guy is. I don't think I've ever seen that. Is it a meme or is it was it a video? Haha, I forgot to flip this one. There we go. Flip it. Flip it's good. And yes, if you can stand doing all the ironing of the strips at once, it actually is a lot faster to just do all the ironing and then do all the cutting. Because that way you don't have to go back and forth a lot. Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't think I've ever seen any of the videos. So anyone have any questions on anything I've gone through so far if you're here live with me? I know there's only a handful of people actually doing this live with me now. I know a bunch of people are going to go back and watch the video. And a bunch of people are just making it on their own, which is perfectly okay. Oops, hold on. What'd I do? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that is a green one. There we go. For some reason, I thought it was a light blue that was coming up. Okay, someone send me the Will It Blend videos and I will watch them. Apparently, it's an important rite of passage or something that I need to watch. So the latest Drag Race is finally on Netflix, so I'm finally watching last year's Drag Race. Because I know if we ever go back to conventions again, I'm going to need that in order to talk to people about things. For references. Oh, it's mostly an or something? Okay, okay. Alright, that's fine. Send me the videos later. It's funny, so I remember a MagFest a few years ago when Nicole basically forced me to watch a bunch of videos that I was too old to get the reference, but that I needed. Like, Charlie the Unicorn was one of them. I had never seen it until that MagFest a few years ago. What was the other one? She showed me a couple of them. Charlie! And then now I get that reference whenever people make reference that thing. Charlie! That is a funny video, though. Well, because when a lot of these videos were coming out, it was, I was either in university or just after university. And so I didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. I was too busy. Because I had 2 jobs, plus Um, plus finishing university. Yeah, yeah, I think most of them did. Because I graduated university in 1999. The fall of 99. And then I taught school for 3, 4, 5 years. It was 3 years I taught school. And then I went to work for the insurance agency. Yep. Yeah, it took forever to download and view things. And I think I just didn't have time for it, right? The sitting and waiting. I am the age that AOL chat rooms were happening when I was in university. It's funny because that's actually how I met my first husband, is through an AOL chat room. And then I met my second husband playing video games. You guys all know about how I met the second husband. I remember AIM. Yep, I think when I finish ironing these, I don't think I'm going to have time to do any more cutting. So next week is all about cutting. So we're going to start cutting these at the beginning of the stream next week. And then we'll start laying them out and hopefully get at least our first 4 rows done. Right, Scott? It really is. I didn't know that AOL wasn't available in Puerto Rico. It's probably because you had to get the disc mailed to you. And because you guys are an island, they couldn't do it. That's weird. Well, no, it's not weird. It's understandable. Now, don't forget, if you're watching me on YouTube Live, if you missed the unboxing stream, I do have Baby Kevin fabric. I have Baby Yoda Grogu fabric available and in stock right now. I have some brand new amazing Harry Potter fabrics. I've got some really awesome Disney fabrics, including Muppets. All in stock, ready to go. Oh, really? Puerto Rico said no? That's interesting. Huh. That is super interesting. last but not least, our last strip being ironed. There we go. And that's it. All of our strips are ironed, and now it's time to cut. So, if I've shown you how to cut, if you would like to work ahead and, whoops, not that one. If you want to work ahead and get the rest of your pieces cut, ready to go, I do run a little bit faster than some people. And then after we get everything cut next week, I'm going to start laying things out. So I'm very excited about it. Very, very excited about it. Yeah, I mean, there's more trust there at that point, Andrea. We truly didn't understand the internet. That's awesome, Dante. Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I couldn't imagine being a mod at 15 doing the stuff. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. It's like, I remember it's my mom, when I was 8 years old, got us, that was just when you could start getting home computers, and got us an IBM, and it was the most expensive thing that they had ever bought, because they knew it was super important for us to have computers in the house. That was the future. Yeah, internet started when I was beginning of university. Yeah. 95, 96 is when I first got online. Yeah, same thing, Scott. Like it was university whenever the internet really started coming around. That's awesome. That's fantastic. See, I bet it made you irresponsible, though. Even though they knew that you were kids. I bet that because honestly, at that point, who's going to truly understand this stuff, right? Is the kids. A Yahoo group. Oh my God, that's amazing. What year was it that I met? Let's see. I was still at community college. I'm thinking, okay, 94, 95, 1996, or 97. No, 1996 is whenever I met my first husband in an AOL chat room. Exactly, Scott! All right, so that being said, thank you so much for joining me live today, guys. You know how I am. I'm a social person, and you guys are keeping me sane. So thank you so much for hanging out. Hi, Marley. Do you want to come say goodbye? All right. Oh, Marley is like, oh my gosh, what are you? Oh, I gotta. Oh, I know. Say hi. Hi. I know. I love you. I love you very much. Are you a good boy? You are a good... Ah, look at this face. Look at this happy face. Mwah. So, thank you so much for joining me live. I super appreciate it. We're going to do the next steps of the Loki Quilt Along next Thursday. Same bat time, same bat place. 5:30 to 7:30 Eastern. Of course, if you can't make it live, you can always rewatch the live videos here on YouTube. Now, for my schedule for the next week, tomorrow, I will be on Twitch from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We're going to be setting up all of my Able Gamers stuff, talking about incentives, doing all that stuff. Right, Mr. Marley? I'll be catching you up on some other things. And then Monday, we're going to finish up our round robin quilt block. That was a burp with no sound. Good boy. And that is it from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern. And then, of course, next Thursday, working on the Loki Quilt-along again. So, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, be kind to each other. Let's try to leave this world a better place than whenever we got here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Goodbye!